So what are some things that you can do to help reduce how many histamine reactions you get when, consuming certain foods or supplements or even medications, okay? So, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, we actually did a video on histamine intolerances and what is histamine intolerances and what sort of symptoms occur when we have histamine intolerances. Okay, so if you haven't watched that one, go back and watch that one after you've been here. Okay, so if you're joining us live, say hello. Oh, hello, Melissa. How are you? Lovely lady traveling around. Okay, and if you are catching this on the replay, just say replay down below in the comments. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Belinda, and I help people who are beyond tired, who are fatigued, who just don't make the energy that they want to make, okay, who have hormonal imbalances, who have had autoimmune problems, thyroid issues, and so much more. Okay, and something that we tend to work on when we're working with clients is their histamine reaction, okay? Because there are certain things that we are trying to introduce to the body to help support the immune system so that the body can recover, so the body can create energy in the cells so that we do feel, vibrant and alive and get our lives back on track. But something that does sometimes happen is because we are so, the body is so complex, we tend to have a lot of histamine reactions when introducing certain things that actually support the immune system. So it's kind of like a scale, and you've got to balance that scale, okay? And, this is something that we all have to work on, right? Now, how do we actually work on this? Well, one thing is replace some of these high histamine foods with less foods that are going to create histamines in the body. Okay, yesterday we were talking about our bucket, okay, our bucket of histamines, because we have histamines and we come into contact with histamines via food, via our environment. We always have it. They're naturally in our body, okay, but we want to keep that bucket from overflowing. And we also want to expand this bucket bigger. We don't want the bucket to be small and easily overflow. We want that bucket to expand. Okay, and there are certain foods that we consume on a daily basis that may be higher in histamines than others. Okay, so the idea is we want to keep that bucket below the top so it doesn't overflow, so we don't have a reaction. Now, some foods that we consume that are high in histamines can be things like, aged cheese, fermented foods, cured meats, alcohol, avocado, canned foods like chocolate, black tea, some very healthy foods. And, we want to make sure that we don't overflow that bucket. So, switching over to, not completely, but switching just while we're expanding that bucket can be helpful. So foods that are going to be low in histamines are going to be things like asparagus, capsicum, cabbage, cauliflower, beef, leafy green vegetables, but not so much spinach, okay? Fish, white fish, what else? Green tea, zucchini, those sort of things are lower in histamines. So that's one thing, is just, realizing which foods are higher in histamines and which ones are lower. Now, it doesn't mean that we need to avoid those foods that are higher in histamines. Like, don't get me wrong, some of those foods we actually need to support the immune system, but we want to make sure that we're balancing this scale very well so we don't overflow this bucket. Okay, so if we are, and not everybody, let's just make a point here, not everybody has these intolerances and reacts badly. It's some people, okay, it's not everybody. So if you do, then, this is just something that might be of interest to you. Now, what else can we do? Okay, we were talking about the histaminase enzyme that helps break down histamines yesterday. Okay, and one food that actually contains a lot of this enzyme is actually grass-fed kidney. Okay, so, taking on a small bit of that on a weekly basis might be able to help expand that bucket a bit more. Okay, other things that can help is helping get our gut health back on track, because histaminase is actually an enzyme made in the gut. So if we're having gut issues, then chances are this bucket is going to be quite small. So there are things that we can improve to help fix our digestive tract, okay? And that can be things like making sure that we're getting a good probiotic, okay? Maybe think about increasing the stomach acid so that we can actually absorb some of these nutrients a bit better. And that might be as simple as adding, apple cider vinegar a couple of times a day to help increase the stomach acid, okay? It might be as simple as looking at a digestive enzyme, okay? Or it might be as simple as, doing a 24 or 48 hour fasting as well can help repair the gut as well. Now, this tends to be something that I generally don't recommend people go straight off the bat, because there are some few things that are important to do before we do intermittent fasting, okay? I do feel it's important and very beneficial, okay? But it can be a stress on the body, and if you haven't set up your body to be able to handle that stress, okay, then that might be something that we actually need to talk about before you jump down that rabbit hole, Anyway, you have to make that decision for yourself. Anyway, tomorrow we were going to talk about a topic which seems to be very, very interesting, and that's MTHFR, okay? So this is something that seems to pop up a lot, and we wanted to delve a bit deeper into that. This is something that's happened with a client recently, and I wanted to explain it a bit more for those of you who are interested. And yeah, it's a genetic mutation and what we can do to support that a bit better. Anyway, so join me then. If you like this video, then why not actually give me a thumbs up or a love heart and share it with a friend. Anyway, you have an awesome day, and I'm going to go over to the group now and do my video over there. Okay.